In this episode, we are going to paint the fox. Now, the fox pops up quite a bit in, well, people's back gardens if you live in urban areas, or even in the countryside, I'm sure, but it pops up quite a bit in mythology, certainly in Irish Celtic mythology. Now, it's believed that the fox was brought to Ireland by the Norse, and the Druids certainly revered the fox. So the fox, really cunning, really cute, very fast, and really wonderful animal. So we're going to paint the fox in this episode. Okay, I am very happy with how this is developing. Okay, I'm going to come up here. Now what I want to do for the ear is I'm going to just wash off that sienna. I'm not terribly conscious or focused or pushed about some sienna. It's okay if sienna is still on this. It shouldn't be, but if it is, it is. I'm going to mix some ochre and some titanium white. 50-50 really is the kind of mix I'm going for, and I'm going to bring it up here into the ear. Foxes have really hairy ears. Dogs have really hairy ears. Animals, humans. The older you get, if you're young and you haven't got hairy ears, you will when you get older. Okay, brilliant. So we are just going to do this, and we're going to use the brush strokes like they are mimicking hair and the movement of hair. Going to do more work on this later. It's about building up the body of it really, step by step. It's not just one brush stroke. So we're going to do a little bit more here. And again, because I have so little ochre, actually, I am just conscious of not wasting it. So I'm going to just bring it in where it should be, lighten up here. And now I've enough definitely to get me through this painting. That's no problem at all. But I just don't want to waste it unnecessarily. So there we go. So we're bringing that here. Awesome. Now what I want to do is grab some, clean up this filbert brush and grab some titanium white, straight up titanium white. And I'm going to move this around and just bring the titanium white in here. And what I'm trying to do is just paint as if it's hair. There we go. So we're taking it from the grey beard, as I joked earlier, we're taking it to a much more white. Now this will take a bit of time to do, so you can pause me if you like, and because I'm going to bring it in here as well, down onto the kind of chest area and zone, and then I'm going to do it on the far side. So if you want to pause, fire away, take your own time with this and come back to me. I'm going to be silent now for a few moments. Now we're back into it. So what I want to do is do a little bit of work on the eyes. Now, not a lot of work on the eyes because we're going to come back to the eyes, but I'm mixing sienna and ochre, and I'm just going to come into the fox's eye here and here. And just do an outline like that, and the same on the far side. Now I'm going to pop this up again just for perspective. Yeah, it's looking pretty balanced, happily balanced. It's not too balanced either because it is a creature, you know, it is a real animal, and it's not going to be exactly symmetrical, of course. So I want to get more ochre here. I have enough sienna. I'm going to get more ochre and bring it in, and more ochre here. And then I'm going to get a bit of titanium white, a little bit of ochre. Now there's still a bit of sienna on this, so it's going to be a nice warm tone, and I just want to bring that in here. So there, that's where I'm going. More work to do on this, of course. they're the eyes that I'm just kind of focused on. Little fella, or little vixen. Actually, that reminds me, when I was a kid, there was an amazing cartoon on called The Animals of Farthingwood. And the Animals of Farthingwood would be, if I recall correctly, were on every week, and you follow the story of Fox and Vixen, who was Fox's partner, and their cubs, and Bold was one of them, who was obviously bold. And I think Bold was my favorite, at least if I remember, because I was pretty bold when I was a kid, to be honest, my poor mother. And they lived in Farthingwood, and there was Adder was the snake, and they had the stag, the white stag, and there was lots of really lovely. Oh my God, I loved it. And every week there was a magazine that would come out, and you would be taught how to draw the main animals from Farthingwood. Now what I'm doing here is I have umber, burnt umber, and I'm just drawing in, literally drawing in. I'm not blocking out the color with the larger filbert. I'm blocking in where I want some of the darker hair shades to go. We will be covering over this, but I do want some of them to pop through. So this is giving the fox some definition. But yeah, animals of Farthingwood. Oh my God, loved it. And badger was there as well, and mole, and all of the creatures that live in the forest. Okay. Now, brilliant. So we're coming down here. I mean, where I live in Dublin is very, very close to the mountains, very close. And we're so blessed, really. And we have, of course, got our urban foxes. And I do understand that they can kill livestock. And I think if I had hens and chickens and the fox got them, I'd be upset, of course. It is nature, though, you know. Or if I got one of my dogs, I'd be terribly upset. But, you know, the thing about animals is they don't do it out of badness. They do it because, you know, it's just in their nature, I suppose, and they gotta survive. So definitely go and check out the Animals of Farthingwood. Now here we go. So I got my umber. I'm going to grab some, dry that off a bit, grab some more black, so more Mars black, and I'm going to bring this up here just to outline the ear again. There we go. Now this is hair on the ear, so I'm going to bring it off so it's not a straight line exactly. Okay, and just bring it up there. Super. And then do the same here. Just kind of scrub it down a little bit. That's the beauty of this brush. Again, I say it all the time. If you've watched the other videos, and if you're watching this one, I probably said it a few times. I love this brush. Or brushes. Actually, this is the same one I've used. They can last for quite a while. Sometimes they don't. But this one is actually doing... It owes me nothing, as they say. It owes me nothing. So there we go. Okay, and I'm going to bring some little dashes of black in here. Now the reason I'm doing it so early on is, and I will be putting some in later as well, but if I put them in the wrong place, I'll be able to paint over them. Now I want to come back down to this nose and just kind of give it more of a nose shape. So I'm just keeping my Mars black. I'm coming across here, and I'm moving down. Okay. Going to do more work in the nose in a while. I'm going to just pop into the mouth here, and this is where, if you've dogs or anything, you'll know that the dogs pretty much, at least my dogs, have black lips, and there we go. Foxes are the same. So there we are. Brilliant. Super. I want to come back up here and just get the last bit of paint off this paintbrush. Now, there we are. Now, just before we... Actually, you know what? I'm going to move on to the yellow ochre here because I want to build up this section of the fox. So I'm going to get yellow ochre. Some of my dog's hairs are on my paintbrush. And I'm going to mix it with, again, titanium white. A little bit more titanium white. And I'm going to just bring it down. So the movements will be like this. Straight down the page. Or at the canvas rather. So we're going straight down the canvas. out this direction, kind of in a really lovely flowy movement. Now we're not getting full coverage of this canvas, which is absolutely fine because we're going to use a tool or technique in a few moments called a wash. And I'm going to be giving it a nice wash and explain what that is. It's not bringing it down to the sink, although hilarious, I have had to wash paintings before I spilled stuff on, one in particular, and it was saved by the bell. I had to bring it down and wash the coffee. Actually, I spilled on one once. That one in particular was the one that had coffee spilt on it, and it was a funny kind of story that I won't go into now, but it was of a person who has passed on, but the person used to make me coffee. But the big longer story and very interesting. So okay, we're just gonna bring this out and out and out, and this is the kind of movement we're going for. Lovely and flowy. There we go. Yo, Mr. Fox. Okay, I think it's a Mr. Fox because I kind of get that feeling. I mean, you just kind of know sometimes. Okay. There we go. Okay. I'm just bringing this in and around. Really nice light brush strokes. So I'm not digging the brush into the canvas at all. I want it to be really soft, really subtle, and I'm following these kind of curved lines. Here they are. Okay, I'm bringing these down here as well. Nice and curved. Awesome. So I'm going to bring this color down here as well. Now it won't be as bright as it is up here down here because you have a few different things to contend with down here. You've got the different color of the fox's body, because this would be the shoulder and the kind of chest area, but you've also got a bit of shade that's happening down here. So I'm going to just bring this in for depth, and then I'm going to cover back over it in a while. Now what I want to do while I have this yellow ochre, I'm going to really pale it down. So I'm going to probably mix 2 parts titanium white to 1 part ochre, and I'm going to come up into the ears and just kind of draw this in. Now this needs to be much paler than this, but we get there by doing it like this, step by step. Okay, so we do the same on the other side into the ear. We grab some more and we bring that in here. Okay, I'm very happy with how this is progressing. Again, what I'm saying to you, anytime if you're finding me go too fast, or you want to kind of slow down with it and take your time and mix your paints, that's absolutely fine. Just pause me. That's absolutely cool. There we go. This is all about you enjoying yourself, and that's the beauty of the creative process. It is fun, and it's about learning and experiencing. And there we go. Okay, yeah, Mr. Fox is going very well. Now what I'm going to do is grab my hairdryer, because it will allow me to dry off any wet paint here, because I'm going to go in with a wash now in a moment. So hairdryer is going on. Brilliant. Acrylic dries by evaporation. So if you're in a warm room, it's going to dry really quickly. If you're in a colder room, it's going to take a bit longer to dry. Sometimes I use a spritz spray to keep my paints wet while I'm painting, if I'm painting over a long period. When I start paintings, usually they take days and as I say, weeks. But for this, I want to speed up the drying process, so I just use a handy hairdryer. Don't put it too close, of course, just a little bit of a blast, and it'll dry up that last bit of wet acrylic when it's turned on. Bear with me. So there we go, nice and dry. And what I'm going to do is grab my filbert again. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to grab this brush, which is a flat head, and I'm going to dip it in water. And then I'm going to grab some burnt sienna here. And this is the wash I'm looking for. Now, this might be a bit too much for me. May not be. We shall see in a moment. And I'm just going to apply it here and here, and different parts where I want it to be a much darker tone. Same up here. Yeah, that's actually okay. So with water, you're getting a nice bit of coverage. I may have already said this. You're getting a nice bit of coverage, but it's not, you can get a flow improver, which kind of keeps the bonding qualities of the acrylic together. but I didn't, it is expensive, so I didn't want you to have to go and get that, and you wouldn't use it that often, so there was no point really. So I just want to, water is absolutely fine once you don't dilute the acrylic too much. So I just want to bring this around here and down. Okay, so this is the much darker tone, and this is actually a nice wash. I'm very happy with this. Okay, brilliant. So as you can see, some of the canvas that was underneath that we weren't actually getting at is being covered over now, which is brilliant. And also I want to get this tone and bring it up and under here and just give a bit of warmth to this. The wash covers over the covers beneath. Now the great thing about burnt sienna is that it is quite opaque anyway, so you could apply it straight up over a color and it would allow that color to come through beneath it. But with the wash, it allows that even more. So the wash is just really like you're laying a veil over or a curtain over something. Okay, something really nice and just delicately laid over it, so it's not overpowering it. Now I'm going to bring the wash in here, and as you can see, it's not overpowering the color beneath either. It's really getting to the end of its kind of washing abilities. The friction that I'm causing now is also drying it up, so I'm going to grab a little bit more of it, and you're just going to pull it down this direction towards the forehead of the fox. The same out this direction as well. I'm just going to kind of drag it out. I'm going to make this much wider out the side, much brighter and lighter out where the sides are, but I do want this depth as well, so that's why I'm bringing out a bit of a wash here. Okay, brilliant. Now, as I can see that I'm happy with the shape of the fox. Yes, I am. But the green that I made earlier doesn't come in far enough. So what I'm going to do is mix a little bit more green. Now again, I love that color green. You can make it lighter if you like, or you can make it darker. If you want it lighter, of course, you're going to add some more yellow. If you want it darker, you add more blue. But I'm just going to come in. This is actually a little bit more dark. I'm going to come in here. Don't worry about cutting off the hair. We're going to be bringing the hair out with some more brush strokes. Come in here, darken it up. That might be a bit too dark for me, so I'm going to get some more yellow, blast that down onto it. There we go. So that's the lighting and lightening it up for me. And I do like when it is light as well. But it's a lovely kind of foresty green, isn't it? One of my favorite greens that I use is almost this color. It's called Hooker's Green, and it's almost this color. Now it gives the most beautiful tones when it's mixed with a gloss medium. Oh my god, I use it quite a bit for washes as well. When I mix it with a gloss medium, it just gives a lovely tone, very Christmassy. Okay, now brilliant. So this is exactly what I want up around here. Again, don't worry that we're drawing it's almost like a straight line, as you can see now. We're going to come back out of it with hair, and it's really going to make it look like the fox is in a forest. Now, brilliant. So I'm going to wash off this green because I'm kind of probably finished with the green. I'm just going to go get my hairdryer again, just blast that, because I don't want to bring any of the wet green onto this. Yes, I can mask it if I do get any other color onto this, but why would you bother? If you can stop the issue happening, let's stop the issue happening. So let's do it. Okay, so that should be enough. Now what I want to do is get rid of all of the green off this brush, and I'm going to keep my filbert, because my number 10, because I want titanium white. Now there is a bit of a mix here, titanium white. The colors beneath it should be dry, like the bit of yellow ochre there and the bit of gray. They should be dry. If they're not, it's not a big deal, because it's just really, I just want to give a bit of depth to this area. I want it to be white, but if it's not white, I'm not going to lose any sleep about it, because it will be white. I'm going to go over it again later anyway. So I just want to bring this out here and down. Some nice brush strokes this direction. Okay, super. And I'm just going to twist this around and kind of, we're going to now start to flick it out a little bit and bring it into the other colors beneath. And just make it look like it is hair just falling over the other hair. And the same coming out of the face and into that green background. Now this is going to take a couple of minutes. You can pause me again like I said to do, and you can do it in your own time. You can take your time with this. It's a really lovely process, and we're just drawing lines. So if you want to go ahead and pause me, do that, and I'm just going to fire away and continue on this. Okay, we're back now, and what I'm going to do is grab some more of the yellow ochre, and we're going to grab some more of the titanium white. We're going to mix it together. I'm going to spin this around because I want to bring it down and out almost like it is, yeah, flowing down and out. So there we go. I want to do this all the way around. So we're on the crown or the forehead of, or leading up to the crown of the fox, and I just want to bring the strokes out here. And I want it to be nice and light, so I'm going to get some more of the titanium white. There we go, more of the white. So, and the reason I keep saying titanium white is because you can also get mixing white, which is not the same thing. And don't buy mixing white. I've done that before myself. It doesn't work. Okay, so titanium white is what you want to get. And you know, it can be hard to get sometimes. It can be pretty challenging to get. So there we go. We're bringing this out here, and we're going to bring it down a bit onto the nose as well. And as you can see, we're kind of building some definition. The great thing about this filbert brush is it allows you to get these lovely strokes in. And let's bring it down here. I want to pale that up a little bit more, so a little bit more white. And there we go. And bring that up here. There we are. Okay, okay. And I'm going to draw a line just up here, almost like the bridge of the nose. We're giving it a highlight. So anyone who's used to highlighting their faces, that's kind of what I'm doing here. Not that I really know much about that stuff, but I do watch TV. Well, I don't. I watch YouTube, and sometimes it pops up on YouTube. Okay. You know when you get caught into a rabbit hole of this is how you apply makeup? Not that I have ever, nothing wrong with guys wearing makeup, of course, but just not my thing. But I do find it fascinating that makeup artists can be, well, not fascinating, they can be artists. They are artists. They're absolutely phenomenal at what they can do. And some of my friends will be absolutely amazing with applying makeup, guys and girls. So here we go. We're going to bring this up. I'm putting more titanium white into this. We're going up onto the fox's ear. We're brightening it up. Remember I said earlier, it's about building it step by step, building the depth, and there we go. We're building that here. So that's exactly what we're focusing on. Same over this side. Really lovely tones. You're getting the bottom tone. You're getting all of the lovely tones there. Super. Now what I want to do is grab some sienna and mix it into this mix, because I want to bring that out here. So we're going to come over to this side, kind of the cheek area of the fox, and we're just going to get the sienna mixed with the ochre and titanium white, and we're just going to bring it out here into the background, into the green that we painted earlier. So it kind of looks like the fox is there looking at you. I'm going to do a little bit here under the eye as well, just to kind of give it a bit more definition. Same on the far side. Stay with the same colors that we have, and we're just going to bring it out into the background, kind of blend that in a little bit nicely. There we go. That's actually exactly what I'm looking for. And the same again under the eye. Now what I said earlier, they're not exactly symmetrical, so don't worry about that. It doesn't have to be you do this stroke here, you have to do the same stroke on the far side. We're just going to make it look as even as possible. Okay, amazing, brilliant. Now what I want to do is just bring a little bit of this here, another little bit here, And then I'm going to get rid of it off my brush. And what I want to do is get into that eye. Or those eyes. It has 2 eyes. Okay. So I'm going to get some umber. And I'm going to go into the eye. And I'm going to come in here. And I have black. I'm going to come back into it with black as well. But what I want to do is go around here with the burnt umber. And just give it a nice bit of depth. There we go. And the same on the far side. Get rid of that white. Now we are going to have a little bit of white in the eye, but I will explain that more when we get to it. The eyes are typically, I love popping the eyes in, windows to the soul and all of that. But I do also leave some of them until the end, or at least the last bit of it. Now I have more umber on this, and I'm going to use umber almost now like a pen, and I'm going to draw in some of the lines that I want. I did it with black earlier, I'm doing it with umber now. There we go. Now what I want to do is get into the center of this eye as well with the umber. And it's almost, foxes have almost like a cat's eye. It's not quite like a human eye at all. So there we go, we're going to pop that in there and there. Now I'm going to make that a bit more even. Still more work to do on that, but this is kind of what I'm going for. I'm going to come over here as well and just build the depth in around that. There we go. What I'm doing is just drawing in where I want hair to be here, exactly like that. So we're just using the side of the brush. Now you could use the top of the brush as well, but the side of the brush gives lovely marks there. Bring that down into this. The same over here. I'm just going to nice waves of, or nice flowy stripes of color. Same on this side. Oh my god, I'm getting so used to now flicking my canvas around because it's so small. I'm flicking it a bit too much. Relax, Stephen, relax. Okay. There we go. We're going to put this in here as well. More perspective view. It's always nice to pick it up. See, when you're at an easel, it's great because you can step away from it. It's tilted. You can kind of see. When it's flat down, your perspective can be completely off. So it is nice to kind of glance every so often. Now, what I want to grab is just straight up sienna, not sienna, ochre. I want to grab some straight up ochre and I want to bring it up here and here. And I want to bring it up almost like a crown there on the top of this fox's head. The same around here. We're going to cover around. Now that's there. I went a bit over onto the green. It's not going to make a problem because I've wiped it away, but also this ochre is translucent and this is a wash as well. So you ain't even going to notice it. But I just want to bring it down here and look at that lovely depth that you're getting there. Incredible. The same, we're kind of bringing it in to here. Coming down and around. The umber should be pretty dry. If you go over a bit of umber and it stretches, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to go back into my wash. I want a little bit more because I want to bring it up here onto the ears. There we go. Just a little line on the ears. I'm going to scribble in a little bit. The same on this side. Yeah, exactly what I want. I'm going to cover over this as well. This is what I'm looking for. Exactly like this. Yeah, exactly that. So this is the kind of idea we're going for. I'm going to do the same here. Okay, perfect. Exactly what I want. Finally, just going to bring some of it down. Well, not finally, there's still loads of work to do, but I'm going to bring some of it down here. Perfect. What I also kind of want, I kind of get the feeling I want it here as well. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's, so sometimes when you're painting, you can kind of get it moved to move and paint in certain parts that you hadn't planned on. But there we go. So I'm going to bring it around here into the muzzle and go back over this as well if it's not something that I love. I'm going to bring it into the nose as well. So there we go. We're just kind of blending it in now. We're getting to the end of the pigment on this paintbrush, so it's really just the last little residue of it. Amazing. I want to bring it down into this section as well. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I want. Hadn't intended on that. There's no point, or there's no problem in warming up this area either. Okay, super. Yo, Mr. Fox. Okay, give me back my filbert. Grab my size 10 filbert. And what I'm going to do is I want to get more titanium white. I'll breathe down here. More yellow ochre, but much more white. So it's a really pale color that I'm working with now. That wash is pretty dry because it was really the way I applied it. And as you can see now, I'm just after rubbing out some umber. So my problem, my fault. And now I'm going to just blast it with a hairdryer just to make sure it is dry, because why create a problem if you can fix it first?